Well, there's Kit. He's leaving me. Here's where we're parked. I gotta watch where I'm walking because the grass is not terribly even. But this is where we're parked. This is a Harvest Host location. I'm actually checking to see. Yeah, look at my rear window. I'm gonna have to wash that myself. So I just paid $67 for a truck wash to get Henry washed. And, oh, that screw's kind of coming out. And they did not do a good job. So that was a Blue Beacon truck wash in Portland. It was bad on several different levels. We're just going to let Kit run around for a few minutes. Bad on several different levels because they only had one bay, so I was there for over an hour. And they don't dry anything off. So, you good? So I ended up with still quite a bit of dirt, but it definitely looks better than it did before because it hadn't been washed in over a year. Last time I washed it, I think, was the beginning of March. I hear water. And I see horses over here. I should probably hook him up because I don't think he's ever seen horses. Hey, Kit. Come to me. Come here, Kit. Come to me. You gotta get the hook up. Okay, get the hook up. Thank you. Good boy. Good boy. Yeah, I don't think he's ever seen horses. So I don't think he should be loose to meet horses for the first time. You coming? This is a Harvest Host location. It's called Helvetia Vineyards and Winery. We got 2 horses in there. And I'm assuming, since there's some kind of path there, that we need to go up here. Yeah, Helvetia Winery. Open today. Harvest Host location, not super easy to get in here, but you know, considering all the places I've taken Henry, not the hardest thing in the world. Let me take care of Mr. Kit, and then we'll go take a look inside.
Wake up with the sun in our eyes. Sally forth, no need for goodbyes. Journey calls, let's roll the dice. Every mile a new surprise.
All right, let's go take a look. Established 1996. Okay. Hello.
Hello, sweetie.
What you sniffing, Sniffer? Kit's got a nice big bowl of water down here. Don't you, Kit? Don't you? Don't you? You got a nice big bowl of water? Uh-huh. Okay, so we're going to do a tasting. Look at that pretty bottle of water and my glass of water there. And then we might buy a bottle, because why not? Because I can take it to meet my friends. So we'll see. We'll see what we get.
Nervous.
Don't be nervous. It's just YouTube. Don't you watch YouTube?
I do, but I don't want to be on YouTube, and I never want to be on television.
How do you know that?
But
Have you done it?
No, just.
So see,
yeah.
you're making an assumption.
That's true.
What if it wasn't true that you didn't want to be on TV? What if it wasn't true?
Well, there you go. That's an interesting double negative.
Well, because I mean, and this is exactly how I live my life, and I'm not telling you what to do. But what I do is every time I feel resistant to something, the question that I ask myself is, so it's like if I say, "Oh no, I don't want to be on TV. I don't want to be on YouTube." Well, what if that wasn't true? What would be the result if I were?
If you were,
What would be the result? Would it harm me in any way?
Yeah.
Would I maybe make some new friends? Like, I personally have made a whole bunch of new friends from being on YouTube.
That's wonderful.
Which is really awesome.
Yeah.
Would I maybe have a new experience that I didn't even know could happen?
So true.
Yeah. So what if it wasn't true? That's what I always ask myself every time I feel resistant to something. All right, so we are here today at Helvetia.
Close.
Because I really want to say Helvetia.
Well, Google will say
Helvetia.
Helvetia.
Uh-huh.
That's wrong.
So, Vineyards and Winery. I can take you home. You want to go home by yourself?
Oh boy. Send him home.
Yeah, but I locked the door and he doesn't have
Yeah.
opposable thumbs.
Oh, I mean that home. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Okay, stay right there and behave yourself.
Temporary home.
So we're here with John. I assume you're the owner and
Yes.
proprietor.
Yeah,
And you started all
unfortunately,
this.
yes.
Unfortunately, or fortunately. John's got a pretty interesting background. We're going to get into that for a little bit. Meanwhile, Joe is going to be pouring some wine for us, and I think she's going to say a little bit about what she's pouring.
Mm-hmm.
So let's start there so I can start drinking.
Good deal. That's first things first.
Well, for those of you that know me.
So this is our brand new 2024 Pinot Gris. We just debuted it at the Pink Festival, Rosé Festival that did not just have rosés.
Cool.
And at the Rosé Festival, people talked about it having pineapple, fresh top pineapple. One person said it's really nice. So we're going to start.
Fruit.
A lot of fruit, right. So we're going to start at the top here.
Okay.
And we're going to move down the line. So we're going lightest to deepest here. So we've got Pinot Gris, we've got 2 2023 Chardonnays, then our youngest Pinot Noir. And
Let's talk about each one as we get to it because nobody's going to remember this, including me.
Of course. I'm just letting you know.
So we got a ways to go.
An overview.
There we go.
Yes.
We got a ways to go.
Yes.
And according to the tasting notes, honey on the nose, tropical fruit flavors of papaya, pineapple, and lemon, along with pear and melon. So we've got a little repeat there.
Well,
Along with pear.
Along with pear and melon.
oh, we'll have to fix
My
that.
typo.
Well, actually, several people have said pear. So there you go.
So we
double
got
pear.
double
It's double pear and melon.
Pear.
Enjoy.
So, who does your tasting notes?
We do.
I typed them wrong. But we do.
But who makes
what
them
we
up?
usually do? Well, actually, we all do in the sense that we get servers together, and we'll get also, as customers come in, we'll ask them descriptors. And when we get 2 people who agree on a descriptor, that can be put in.
There you
When we
go.
get 4 people, then we put 2 pairs in. So
I get it. That's why we've got along with pear and along
that's
with
how
pear.
I got away from my typo.
Perfect. Actually, I have done some tasting notes for friends that do similar things, and I'm no longer invited to because I'm not really a wine aficionado anymore. Now I'm a bourbon aficionado.
Aha.
I don't know what it is. It's like wine is not my number one go-to anymore. And honestly, living on the road full time, bourbon travels a whole lot better than wine
Oh, yeah.
does.
Sure.
I have a couple of bottles
You
left
go
over.
for 12 years in a barrel with lots of air in it, and it's still fine.
Yeah, exactly. I've got a couple of bottles from what started off as actually one of my first Harvest Host visits in Orland, California. And I helped him work an event when I was there staying as a Harvest Host guest one time. And she said, "Oh, let me give you a couple of cases. I really appreciate all the help." I'm like, "I can't carry cases of wine with me on the road. Won't be any good." I did take half a dozen bottles, and I still have one. So this is pretty nice. I definitely get the pear.
Good.
I don't think I get the papaya.
Get the pineapple on the back. Do you get the pineapple on the
Yeah,
back?
I did get the pineapple on the back. I actually get the papaya in the nose.
Mm-hmm.
Very interesting. Nice finish. See, I used to know how to do this,
You're doing fine.
and
You're doing fine.
I can get the honey, but not at the first sniff.
Mm-hmm.
So you really it opens up a little bit, and I think you have to have it on the tongue. For me, I have to have it on the tongue to be able to get the honey on the nose.
Mm-hmm.
But that's just me.
Interesting. Good.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Glad you enjoyed that.
that's yummy.
So we've got 2 Chardonnays coming up, and it's so 2023 estate Chardonnays. They're actually, so it's same grape, same vintage. The only difference between them is the first one we'll try was aged in a neutral oak barrel. Second one was aged in an acacia barrel.
Oh,
So
interesting.
that
I've never
is-
tried that before,
That's
so
the difference. So we'll be able to
be interesting to
compare.
make that comparison between them. So, John, I know that you are you the vintner, or do you have a vintner?
I'm the vintner when I can't reach my consultant on the telephone.
Gotcha. Okay.
So during harvest, for instance, we've done it enough years. We've been out here for, we planted the grapes in 1982.
Oh, wow.
We started making wine in 92. 96, we got a full license. And so I have enough experience at it to know how to, usually to know how not to screw it up.
Cujo! No.
When you saw the cat.
Made me jump.
Did you see the kitty? That's not George. That's not George. That kitty is not going to come hurt you.
It used to be Smokette, now we found out it's actually Smoky.
Ah.
Smoky.
Just found out.
So this is our neutral oak Chardonnay. So it's not going to have the typical oakiness of an oak Chardonnay. It's much lighter. So if you don't really like an oak Chardonnay, you might like this.
Okay.
We have people who come in regularly who say, "Oh, I don't drink Chardonnay," and it's because they don't like the oaky buttery.
Really? 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 You know what? Now you're showing all your friends on YouTube what you're really like. Do you know what kind of comments you're going to get from this? Do you? Do you know what kind of comments you're going to get? They're not going to be good ones. They're not. People aren't going to say, more Kit. We want more Kit. No, they're going to say, what's wrong with that dog? It's interesting. We started with the 24 and moving back into 23s. I'm not a big white fan typically.
Mm-hmm.
I had a friend that owned a wine bar, and I'd walk in and they're like, so what do you want? It's like, give me something that's deep and dark, kind of chewy.
Mm-hmm.
Sucks the spit right out of my mouth. That's what I want.
It really comes along. It goes about what you're eating.
Yeah.
Certain foods just will go with white wine. Certain foods go so well with red.
Well,
Depends on the varietal too.
yeah, and what's interesting is, like, I could drink a glass of the Pinot Gris
Mm-hmm.
just
Oh,
by
good.
itself. I could drink that. Nothing personal. This is not interesting to me. It would be interesting with food,
Mm-hmm.
but as a glass of wine to sit and drink,
It's not. No.
It would not
there's
be
a whole
that.
different. That's a whole different. In fact, a lot of people don't know wines because that's the only way they think of wines,
mm-hmm.
which is that just have a glass sitting out before dinner rather than
Yeah,
with dinner.
no, and the real deal with wine, and this is, I actually had quite a collection for a long time when I had a house. The real deal with wine, as far as I'm concerned, is being able to find that perfect pairing.
Food.
You
Oh,
know,
yeah.
what really goes with it. And I used to put together, I did a lot of entertaining, and I'd put together some really kind of strange combinations of things.
Oh, it's fantastic. We do that for each new release. We'll sit around with a lot of different foods. We had one time where I had 4 different cheeses: a white cheddar, a Vardy, one other one, and a Chev with the rosé. And 3 of those cheeses neutralized the taste of the rosé. The only one that worked with the rosé was a Chev.
Oh, interesting.
And it was, but so, and that is the kind of, that's the kind of thing you run into with pairing. That you just can't pair a wine with anything. You
No.
try it out.
And what it works with really varies. So one of the things that I find interesting too is that it varies based on the vintage, right? So
Absolutely.
so a thing
Very
that
much
was
so.
really good with something in a 20 might be absolutely awful with the same thing in a 2021, even though the 2021 is a good
Right.
wine. Nothing wrong with the wine, right?
When you come to our 23 and 24, that becomes very apparent. If you go to any winery here in the wine,
Sorry, you can't get any further.
I know. I'm gonna.
You don't.
I'm gonna pour over here.
No, that's perfect. And I apologize for his bad behavior. I can't wait for the comments on this one, guys, because nobody's going to be saying more cut after this. Stop. So this is the acacia barrel coming up.
Yes. So,
that's the acacia.
what did you think of the neutral oak?
As I was saying with John, not something I'd want to sit around and drink.
Okay.
But I could see where it could pair well with certain foods.
Yeah, as John likes to say, our wines are food wines. So
They sure are. Sweet wine, sweet wines you can say
So is bourbon.
they don't go well with food. That's a good sweet wine.
So see the difference here that just the barrel makes.
Oh wow.
You see if you can identify the fruit.
Definitely. See, I'm not getting floral notes in the first hit.
Do you get the lemon?
Almost lemon. Is that what
Almost
it is?
lemon.
No,
Yeah.
Someone came in and said it's yuzu. They said it was yuzu, those small, those little lemony or orangey kind of fruits, and that which I've never experienced yuzu in that way, but it makes sense because I couldn't. It wasn't quite lemon. It wasn't grapefruit. It wasn't orange. It was something. It was a unique citrus.
We should
But I definitely get it on the tongue.
Right. Oh yeah.
And the floral. I'm getting honey. You say honey crisp. I'm not getting apple.
Now,
But I might after another sip or two.
one thing to note, I note this to people who are tasting, but there's 700 different receptors that you have, of which you have 3 million of them randomly on your palate or on your olfactory sense. And so everyone's got to be different. It's everyone. I mean, just by just the numbers, statistically, everyone has a different palate.
And I guess, since we're talking about this, and I know that I'm going to have people that are watching this that are thinking, oh, well, I never get that when I taste wine. Right. They may
That's
not.
right.
They
Yep.
may not. And just because the tasting notes say you should be getting something, doesn't mean you're going to get that thing.
We won't do it on the basis of one descriptor. If 2 or 3 people find a descriptor, then it goes into that.
But what I'm saying though is that, you might sit down, let's say 10 people,
Right.
and 8 of those people say, yep, I get exactly this, and the other 2 don't. Well, the people that are then after the fact tasting the wine like I am, if I'm not getting the thing that the other 8 got, that doesn't mean that I'm wrong
Oh, of course
in
not.
any way.
No,
course
no.
not.
And the Romans knew that. They had
Yeah.
the phrase "de gustibus non disputandum est." About taste, there can be no dispute.
Yep. Yep.
And it's so true. I mean,
It's
Yeah.
I've seen
personal.
people argue.
It's personal.
Couples argue. Oh no, you don't you taste it? What's wrong with you? Well,
Everybody's
nothing.
taste receptors are different. That's the deal. So let's go back. You act as the vintner with some help on the phone.
Oh, and
When
we have a
needed.
great winemaker consultant, and he's been with us for 15 years. And he'll come out once a month, put his nose to the barrels, and we have to choose between what we're going to reserve and what we're going to release. He'll help us go through that with us, and basically it's a big help because he's professional. He studied enology and viticulture, and so he has that training background. All we ever knows is
There you go.
and a little bit of experience.
And are you in an I used to be able to speak, and I haven't even been drinking. Are you in an AVA?
Yes,
Which
we're
one?
actually in 2 of them.
Oh, really?
We're the Willamette Valley.
Okay.
Main characteristic are the low minimum temperatures. And we're also in the Tualatin Hills, which is the northern part of the Willamette Valley. We have the main characteristic is Missoula flood soils that occurred 15,000 years ago. Ice dam breaking at the headwaters of the Columbia filled the Tualatin Valley with 300 feet of topsoil.
Right.
Over 15,000 years, that topsoil blew up in the hillside. So we have about 3 feet of that soil, and it gives a real rich cherry aroma and flavor to the Pinot Noir.
So I don't know if you're familiar with the AVA from which I came, which is the Tehachapi Mountains.
Heard of it, but
Yeah.
yeah. There's a lot of AVAs.
Central California. So in the mountains that ring the bottom of the San Joaquin Valley, those are the Tehachapi
okay.
Mountains. And I guess, for those of who don't, I'm not even going to edit, guys. Just kidding. Used to be able to speak. I don't know what's wrong with it now. For those who don't know, talk a little bit about what the significance of being part of any AVA is.
Well, first of all, it allows us to put the name on the bottle, which is the legal significance of it.
Right.
Because the Treasury Department decides whether or not that designation applies to a particular area upon petition, generally, from winemakers. Secondly, though, every AVA has certain characteristics that can be tasted in the wine. They're part of the wine. Now, there are parts of this AVA, the Tualatin Hills, for instance, our Pinot Gris, is not subject to that same soil, and I don't put Tualatin Hills on the label for that reason, because it isn't quite right. If you're looking for the Tualatin Hills, or if you're looking for a wine that has rich cherry aromas and it's a Pinot Noir, Tualatin Hills matters. For other wines, it may or may not have as much effect. In our case, we have a ridge that goes across towards the valley, toward Tualatin Valley, that prevents that loess, the windblown soil, from landing on this particular part of the vineyard. The other part of the vineyard has about 3 feet of that same.
And how many acres do you have?
We have a total of 70, 15 in grapes. Most of it is forested.
And by percentage, white versus red?
We're probably 2/3, actually about 2/3, 1/3, 2/3 white. I don't know. I probably almost half and half, actually.
Okay. I don't want to hold you up and make you stand forever.
No, I'm
ready for the next one. Whenever you're ready to bring it, Joe.
I am. I love hearing John
Joe.
talk about things. So I just want to.
She is. Too bad she doesn't want to be on camera.
I thought I would get you everywhere.
Well, I did want to ask, what did you like the acacia better than the neutral oak?
I don't know the better. Different.
Okay, different.
Really? You just made a mess, little boy. Really? So you know what the end of your rope is. That's as far as you can go. And no, I said your rope, not Europe. Okay? We're not going to Europe this year. Maybe next year. Might go to Europe next year. How did you get into this, John?
Muddled into it.
I love that.
We lived on a houseboat. My wife and I lived on a houseboat in Portland. And one of the problems with the houseboat is, our problem with the houseboat was that we had drunken idiots for neighbors.
So you decided to encourage.
They're only 5 inches away. And a friend of ours had 40 acres.
It's like living in an RV.
Right, yeah. It could be, yeah. I mean, only one a night. But a friend of ours had 40 acres out here in Helvetia back in 1980. And we decided, let's get out of here. Let's get off the houseboat, move out here, which was just by chance. And then we had to grow something. And we ended up growing, well, the extension agent said, well, you could grow wine grapes along with pears or apples or whatever. And I said, why would we do that? And he said, because you could just sell it to home winemakers. You don't have to build a winery.
And is this part of the
Famous
whole
last
Oregon
words.
thing where you have to sell like $600 in order to qualify for extra tax
$100
benefits?
per acre.
Yeah.
On the particular land.
Oh, $100 per acre? Okay.
$100 per acre, which you can beat that with grapes.
Yeah, well, I've got friends over in West Lynn and they decided to grow lavender.
Oh, okay, that'll do it too. Yeah, there's a lot of ways, but they just want agriculture. So we ended up doing it, and then my wife, we didn't have plans for a winery. My wife was elected to Congress for 6 years.
Oh, wow.
And I didn't have anything else to do. And she came home one day and I said, guess what? I've got a winery.
Guess what I did while you were out today?
Because she was gone for a week. We usually go Tuesday, take her to the airport on Tuesday morning, pick her up on Friday afternoon.
I got to tell you, John, that sounds a lot like what my life is like.
Uh-huh.
You know? It's like, oh, I think I'll do this. And when I was still married, I'd have to say to my now ex, say, "Hey, guess what I did?"
Yeah, it was sort of like that.
Yeah.
I mean, she had an inkling that something was going on.
Yeah, he usually did too. But that's why he's my ex now.
Oh,
And I will say, don't worry at all about the idea of holding me up. I mean, you can see.
That's true. You're here all day.
Well, I'm here all day for one, captive. Yeah, but no, I mean, as you can see, it's all about relaxing, just taking your time. That's why we're direct to consumer. We don't do distribution, so you won't find our wines in any grocery store.
That was going to be one of my next questions.
or
Okay,
anything
cool.
like
What
that.
about
we want
how about
people to
local
come.
restaurants?
I
Nothing?
did distribute. Well, one of the problems with local restaurants was that they don't like to carry inventory. And going downtown and delivering 3 to 6 bottles and spending an hour and a half
To do
parking
that, yeah.
was just not worth it. So, and the other part is that we have so many. This is a central population district. I mean, it's the highest population in Oregon is in this area, so we have plenty of customers. And I'd much prefer to have people taste the wine before they purchase it. We had labels that were focused on shelves that had gold leaf that would reflect fluorescent light and everything else. And we don't have to do that anymore. We don't. We put art on our labels so that it's basically a piece of art that's sitting on the table by a very famous Northwest artist, actually,
cool.
a friend of ours.
Cool.
Yeah.
So
like,
this is.
like this one,
this
for
in-
instance. It's
May I?
Yes.
I'm actually going to wake up the screen.
Carol Grigg.
Carol Grigg.
Carol Grigg. She's a
Grigg.
she does the art.
Look
her
at that.
paintings are the paintings that she made her fortune on, as it were Native American women on horseback,
Oh, very
pastels
nice.
as watercolor type paintings, and then she now does very whimsical paintings, which I just love on the bottles.
Yeah, and we love people to come out and enjoy being here and drinking the wine, and that's what it's about.
So this is the 2023 Estate Pinot.
Yes,
Noir.
This is our youngest Pinot Noir. So there's 3 of them on the tasting menu. So next 2 are 2022s, and it's very light. If you look at the color,
Yeah,
So
very
right-
light.
Right away, you get the lightness. And it was a cool year.
I can get the
And-
pepper on the nose.
Mhm.
Interesting. Tastes just like my chia seed jam.
Ah, I like that.
That's fun. Well, because I mix raspberries and strawberries
Yeah.
and make chia seed jam out of it, and that's exactly what it tastes like.
Oh, I like that.
I don't ferment it, but
Yeah.
most of the time.
You still want that charcuterie, right?
Sure,
I
yeah.
will get that going.
Yeah.
The 23 and the 22 vintages had just about the same amount of total heat that the plant was able to use during its growing season. The 22, though, came out much more intense, much darker, which means most likely we had different levels of heat at different parts of the growing
Right.
stages, the stages of growth that occur each year. So they're very different, despite the fact they have the same what are called growing degree days, which is a measure of the heat that the plant can use.
Now I know you weren't just sitting around while you were mulling over. Hey, I think I'll start a winery.
No,
So how
no, we-
how did you get to here? I guess would be my next question.
from the vineyard. I mean, we
No,
planted the vineyards.
before the vineyard.
Oh,
before the
vineyards.
vineyard.
Well,
What'd you do?
basically- Oh, I was a lawyer. I am a lawyer, inactive member of the bar now. I was the director of the Oregon Environmental Council for a couple of years, and then I had worked with tribes when I first came out here, the Puyallup and Nisqually people up in the Tacoma area. I then took a job in 1979 with the Columbia River Intertribal Fish Commission, which is basically a regulatory agency, a advocacy agency for the Yakima, Nez Perce, Warm Springs, and Umatilla tribes, who have treaty fishing rights on the Columbia, as well as within their ceded areas, their tributaries.
How does that interact with the Army Corps of Engineers?
Oh, very closely. In
I
fact,
assume closely.
Very
and
closely.
I guess my question is
Corps-
well or adversarially?
Or
both.
I worked with the Corps over the years. A very close friend of mine, Jamie Pinkham, was the Deputy Assistant Secretary for Civil Works in the Army, which is the
Right.
I mean, I often kidded him about saying That's the most powerful position in Indian country, to be in that position, because the Corps of Engineers is so involved with water resources. And
Exactly.
water resources for every tribe are very, very important. The tribes that I worked for had ceremonies around water. Water was the giver of life, and so all of the different policies applying to water, the federal water policy, was very, very important. And we found we could work with the Corps. The tribes worked with the Corps. There were times when the Corps was the problem, and other times when the Corps would provide mitigation for the
Nice.
losses that the tribes
Well, and that's, I mean,
experience.
that's pretty much the way it is in any relationship, isn't it?
Sure, and I found that the Corps of Engineers, personnel, civilians, and military were very professional in the way they worked, and they had high levels of expertise in their water management. And when it finally became clear that they had to manage for salmon as well as for the other uses, whether it be navigation or irrigation or electricity, they sat down with us and they worked very closely with us. We also worked with the Bonneville Power Administration, which is the power marketing agency of the United States for Columbia River Power, hydroelectric power.
Oh, interesting.
The dams were really placed for the purpose of navigation. The purpose of hydroelectricity generation was to pay for those dams, because they weren't charging the navigation people or the irrigation people for the resource that they were using. And over the years, we had close relationships with the Corps. The Corps was an important partner because they did have so much authority over how the river was run. It was interesting. Recently, the administration, President Trump, he was talking about reviewing the Columbia River Treaty.
Really?
And changing the boundary, those kind of things. The Columbia River Treaty protects Portland from floods because Canada holds back water.
Right.
And don't mess with Canada on the Columbia River Treaty, or else you'll see a very watery Portland during the wintertime.
Yeah, that could be tough for sure. So I guess, just to kind of wrap this up.
Well, we didn't talk about wine. No, okay. Just
We talked about wine
yes,
some.
yes.
See, I like to talk about everything. I like far-ranging
I love it.
conversations.
Yeah, I know.
You know?
You meet so many people, too.
Exactly. So my next question for you, though, is going to be, if you were sitting in my chair, what is the question that you would be asking right now for you to answer?
I think I would ask about the experience of working with tribal people.
So tell me about
Because
that.
the experience, for one thing...
Tell us about that.
A little, well...
Are you watching, Lisa?
Our cultures are very different. The European culture is very different from the tribal culture.
True that.
There's a book called The Dawn of Everything. It was written by, it was an academic book written by archaeologists and anthropologists. And they posit that the ideas for democracy came from, not from the Enlightenment, not from Locke and Hume and others, but from the experience of the Jesuits, particularly with tribal people in the Americas. And because they weren't hierarchical, they weren't kings. The chiefs had the power to bring together people to make decisions. And I found working with tribes that the tribal chairman in many ways was the least powerful person in the tribe. The tribal chair was there to bring people together to make decisions. The general council, the town meeting as it were in New England, was really the power within the tribe, and that was where the authority was held. And if you ignore the general population, really at your expense, if you're a tribal leader, you won't be a tribal leader for very long.
Well,
And that's just the political organization. The tradition, the religions are based on the ground. They're based with the animals, the animal spirits, the stories, the legends. The legends aren't of gods and angels. The legends are about coyote, for instance, and in various tribes had various animals that were the carriers of the lessons for the children. And that's very different from what our European
Very
ancestors
different.
brought to the United States.
And kind of unfortunately, I think our European history, so to speak, doesn't really leave room for the possibility of adopting any other belief. It's very, very rigid. My personal belief is that the best leaders are the ones that do nothing more than facilitate the greatest number of people coming to a consensus.
Right, and that's certainly not the idea that came out of monarchies.
No, not at all.
And it has embodied to some extent democracy, but we're seeing even our democracy no longer holds those kinds of.
Which, of course, is a
Republican
whole
democracy.
different subject, and I'm going to stop you because I'm very careful not to do anything political on my channel.
Sure, no, I understand.
'Cause
I think in the broad range of history, we're seeing.
Yeah.
We're not seeing it, our democracy moving so much in that direction.
No, I think that's true. I think that's true. So, if you could do anything else at all in your life at this stage, John, what would it be?
Go to Tuscany.
Yeah?
Tuscany is one place I'd really like to go to experience the wines there. And I leave this place. I would leave this place reluctantly.
Okay,
I mean, I
good.
wouldn't. I don't expect to leave this location because it's a beautiful location. I love being here. We have beautiful forests, lots of animals, bobcats and a bear and elk. We have a herd of 35 elk that go through these forests up here.
You hear that,
And
kid?
so that doesn't. You'd love.
You hear that?
Never
They got
met an
elk.
elk. Did he ever meet an elk? before?
He's seen one
He's seen one. Oh, that was
from
a
outside
big
the
surprise.
window. Yeah.
Yeah, but this place to me is sacred. But I would like to go to Tuscany sometimes. I like the wine. I like the wine. Sangiovese is a great wine.
I love
And
Sangiovese.
two, what I've heard about the culture there, the
Yeah.
wine culture is very.
Well, and I feel the
interesting.
same way. I mean, I'm considering maybe next year or the year after. I haven't decided yet. Probably the year after because I haven't done any planning at all. But I want to get to Europe and rent a caravan, 6 to 9 months, and tour as much of Europe as I possibly
Good
can.
for you. Good for you.
You know.
Grand time.
Yeah, I think it'll be an amazing and fascinating journey. John, I'm going to thank you for
Pleasure.
your time
My
so much. I
pleasure.
truly appreciate it. Kit, you can stop now.
We have a couple more wines.
I hope you guys got something out of this. All right, so we've had one Pinot so far, which was a 2023 estate.
Yes. So we have 3 Pinot Noirs in the tasting. You tasted the 2023. That's our youngest. Last 2 are both 2022 estate Pinot Noirs. So grapes grown here. That's what estate means. And the only difference between them is this one that you're about to taste was 1 year in the barrel. The reserve was 2 years in the barrel, and that will be the next one.
Okay.
So
But it's the same wine. It's the same vintage.
exactly, just
And the
1
only-
year in the barrel versus 2 years in the barrel for the next one. And what a lot of people say for the 2 years in the barrel is that it kind of rounds the edges off, kind of softens it. But we'll see what you think.
Okay. Okay.
Interestingly, I keep going back to it. It's making my mouth water.
Mmm. That might be the tannins. Tannins create kind of a dry mouth. It's that,
Oh, interesting, because I'm reading the notes on the estate, and the chocolate goes away, huh? It doesn't amplify. That's surprising a little bit.
Try it with a little piece of chocolate. I also have some plain chocolate wafers. Those are acai blueberry. Do you think it's better with the wafers or with the acai?
Of course, if you put chocolate on top of it, you're going to get the chocolate.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a little bit of a cheat.
A little bit of a cheat.
A little bit of a cheat.
What did you think about the difference between this and the 2023?
I like them both. They're both different. And I can't differentiate a favorite,
Yeah.
you know,
yeah,
but
yeah.
they're both good, but they're both different. What you doing, Kit Kit? Are you running around? What you doing, baby boy? You ready to go home? Let's go home.